The biggest question in mixing audio: what's on your mix bus? Let's get into it. Hey everyone, I'm Cole Caparoon. Thank you for stopping by for another video. This is a question that has always fascinated me. I've always been curious what people were using on their mix bus, and especially people that I aspired to be like, and especially people who were making music that I wished that I could make at a level I wished I could make it at. There's a lot of magic that happens in the mix bus. And so today I want to show you what's on mine. I will put links down below for every single one of these pieces of gear. And I will also put links down below to my recommended plug-in versions. So if you're not in a place to buy all of this hardware, hopefully that you can get a plug-in that lines up with it, or that you can get in the same ballpark with for sure. Let's take a look at what's on my mix bus. Okay, on my mix bus. Now, my mix bus at this point is entirely hardware. I currently use 0 plugins on my mix bus. However, I'm going to give you guys examples of the hardware and what I would suggest in replacement of it if you wanted to do a plugin. The next thing that I want to say is I have dedicated videos on every single one of these things. So there's no way I can give you an in-depth listen at every one of them, but I have videos on every single thing, I think everything that I'm about to show you, and I will link all of those videos down below if you want a more in-depth look at any of these particular pieces. First up on my mix bus, the SPL PQ equalizer. Just did a video on this. This is my first insert, or my first piece on my mix bus, and I really like EQ before compression in most situations. So that's why this is first. It's just an unbelievable EQ. Is it overkill for mix bus? Yeah, maybe, but it's unbelievable. And there's a plug-in version, and the plug-in is also absolutely incredible. I'll link it down below. Next up is the Solid State Logic Bus Plus. I lied, actually. I don't have a video on this yet. It's coming, I think, next week. I'm going to do the video on this, but I've had this here in my racks for maybe 6 months or so, and it is incredible. I master with it. It's on my mix bus for every song. It is incredibly versatile. You have a low THD mode, so that way it has the low end creates less distortion. You can do feedback or feed forward. This 4K mode does a level of saturation that is adjustable. There is a mix knob right here, so you can do parallel compression right on the box. As you can see, I'm currently set somewhere around 70%. We've got a whole bunch of additional ratios and attack and release settings, and it is phenomenal, in addition to being able to do mid-side and all kinds of stuff in that classic SSL bus compressor style, which is my favorite style. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for the video on the SSL Bus Plus. Highly, highly recommended. If you can't afford this, the next option would be my last mix bus compressor, which is the Serpent SB4001. I chose this 10 years ago, 8 years ago, because it was so good at the SSL thing, but it had still the wet and dry blend, and it had a bunch of additional attack and release settings compared to the actual SSL. So I went with this way back in the day. I do like the Bus Plus from SSL a little bit better, but mostly because of its incredible versatility. This is absolutely incredible, and I think these are only like $900. I'll put a link down below. If you can't do either of these, then I would recommend the Universal Audio Spark subscription, the UAD Spark subscription that has the SSL G-Bus compressor as a plugin in it. That's hands down what I would recommend. So we go from the SPL PQ to the SSL Bus Plus to my signature pre's. These are made by Cappy. These are affectionately known as the Caparoon, and they just give size and color and depth to the mix with some saturation, and they're absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, these were a limited run. We may do a version of these again soon, but you can get the same sonic character from the Cappy Hider H2s. And so I'll put a link to those down below. these are kind of a secret weapon for me, and I use them on every single mix. So we've got SPL PQ, the SSL Bus Plus, the Cappy Rune or Hider H2. And then next up is always one of these two. It's either the Rupert Neve MBT or the SSL Fusion. And this kind of depends on the song. The MBT is like thicker and gooier and a little rounder sounding, and the Solid State Fusion is like more granular and a little bit more hi-fi, tighter sounding. So it just depends on what the song calls for. But what's great about having both of these is they complement each other extremely well. If one is not the right choice, the other is almost always the right choice, and they do a fairly similar thing. We've got saturation built in with a high pass and some EQ, and the stereo image as well. So they're very complementary. They are somewhat redundant functionally, but they're not redundant sonically. Now, if I was going for a plugin of either of one of these, honestly, it would just be the Black Box. The Black Box is one of my all-time favorite saturation plugins, and if I was going to pick a plugin to replace these, it would just be the Black Box and maybe some additional EQ, but the Black Box is so good. It has a couple different flavors of saturation. There's an air band on it. It's so good, and that's what I would use if I was looking for a plug-in version of these. Next up on my mix bus, the SPL Big. Again, have full videos on this, have full videos on both of these as well. The SPL Big is just a stereo widener. That's all it is. That's all it does. It's absolutely incredible, and I love it. It's the last thing in my hardware chain on every single song that I mix. They did, just like today or yesterday, come out with a plug-in version of that, and so I will link that down below as well. But it's absolutely incredible. So that is the hardware that is on my mix bus, and that's what all the processing is. However, when I'm sending a mix to a client, I also turn it up via the FabFilter Pro L2. And I do this because I want them to get a version that is similar to a mastered version, that has a similar amount of energy as a mastered version. And so I will commonly, if it's a denser mix, don't take this as gospel because it depends on how dense your mix is and how much low end it has, but I will commonly use the FabFilter Pro L2 at the end of the chain to turn it up to, -10, -9, maybe -8 sometimes if it's a really dense song that needs to be really aggressive and loud. I'll turn it up to that and send that to the client for their mix notes or for their approval, and then I will take that back off before I print for mastering. Again, I'll put links to every single thing in the description below and links to every single video for all of this gear. Almost all of those links go to Sweetwater. Thank you, Sweetwater, for sponsoring this video. Anytime you guys need any piece of gear, not just the stuff in this video, you can jump on any one of my links. Click on any one of the links in the description of any video. Once you're on the site, you can purchase anything that you need. And when you do that, it goes a long ways to help me keep making videos just like this, and it costs you nothing extra. So thank you guys for using those links anytime you need to purchase anything. Thanks to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the links in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.